Hey everybody, it's Alex Jones from Jones Firearms Coaching here in Vancouver, Washington. And today I want to talk about something that you normally don't see in the media. You normally don't even get YouTube videos about. I don't think there may not even be a YouTube video about this, so I may be the first to trend this. I want to talk about how me as a Muslim American self-defender, Second Amendment advocate, protect myself and maybe others in the event that something happens at the mosque. Now, you may have seen videos of Christians who have security teams where they protect the pews and the pulpit, and they do an awesome job of that. But I definitely want to talk from my perspective as far as, how I operate in my faith, also being a Second Amendment advocate and someone who carries a gun every day. So in some mosque, there is security. Some of it is covert, some of it is overt, okay? But sometimes there's security teams in mosques just as well as there are in churches, right? So for me, I carry a gun every single day. And it's not a hard thing for me to do. It's not a hard thing for me to think about. But when it comes to my faith, we've seen in the news, we've seen in the media before where there have been active shooters in religious facilities. Notice I didn't just say mosque or for Muslims. You've had Jews attacked, you had Christians attacked, and you've also had Muslims attacked. You've even had people in Buddhist temples attacked. So I want to kind of address that as far as like what I do to keep myself safe as much as I can when I'm inside of a mosque in the case of an incident, i.e. an active shooter or someone coming to do harm in the mosque. Now, there's one thing you need to know about how we operate in our faith as far as our rituals, not so much what we believe, we won't even get into that, but our rituals of prayer, okay? One of the most vulnerable times for a Muslim is when they're in their prayer, okay? And one of those positions in our prayer is what we call sujood, which is the Arabic word for prostration, okay? And when we prostrate, our faces are on the floor or, down to the ground. And this is a very vulnerable spot for us. So, it's going to be very hard to hear sometimes. It's going to be definitely very hard to see what's in front of you and what is around you because we are taking that time to focus on God and put all of our attention into the worship of God. So in that case, anything can happen, right? We can be in the mosque and someone can come with a gun, someone can come in wanting to cause harm. And I always think about that scenario and how do I actually mitigate that? So we're in the holy month of Ramadan, I would like to say. And sometimes people that want to cause harm, they think, you know what? We know that the Muslims are going to be gathering a lot during Ramadan. Maybe we want to go over there and cause a ruckus, right? Or cause them some harm. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit about the position of prostration and how I've been training for a long time to kind of overcome and mitigate, the threat of an active shooter, the threat of someone coming in to do harm. But number one on my list really is the active shooter, okay? So right here, I usually carry my gun on my strong side hip when I'm in the mosque. And you may say, why don't you carry appendix? Well, guess what? Sometimes I do carry appendix, right? I do carry appendix sometimes, but I can't because of the motion. So we do a lot of, if you can imagine, we do a lot of bowing, right? And sometimes we're in positions where we have to bend over. And if I'm going to be carrying as an appendix carry, that's going to be extremely difficult for me to do if I have to prostrate and have to keep bowing down. So I think, and I believe for me, the most advantageous place for me to have my weapon is here on my right side hip, okay? So I'm always carrying my gun on my strong side hip here because I have to prostrate. Now, to demonstrate the prostrating position, all right, to demonstrate that, it looks like this. So, of course, we have standing, we have bowing, and then we eventually get to the prostration phase of our prayer. So the prostration position looks like this. We will come down and we will put our face, forehead and nose onto the floor, okay? So this is what prostration looks like. And there'll be times where we may come up and then we may go down into prostration, right? This happens numerous times while we're in prayer. But while we're in this position, again, we can't see, our eyes are closed, we may not be able to hear, can't know what's going on around us, okay? So for me, I try to stay focused on my prayer, of course. But if someone came in and they started shooting, I now start to think in my head how I'm going to respond and how I'm going to react, right? So I kind of practice that from different positions, but of the prayer. But today I'm only going to talk about the prostration position of the prayer, okay? So knowing that anything can go on and around me, I have practiced this a million times. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what it is that I do to I guess prepare or be situationally aware of a threat in case it comes, okay? So if I'm down in this position, and I am praying to my Lord, this is a vulnerable position, this is a sensitive position for us, a sacred position. So we are here. If I hear something, my first instinct is to rock back and to draw my gun from the strong side hip, okay? Again, I'm going to be in the prostration position. My first instinct is to rock back onto my heels and then access my gun, okay? Now, the thing about accessing your gun is, if I pull my gun out, 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't see anybody in front of me, right? So if I'm here in a row praying with other Muslims, there's a lot of rows. There's other people behind me probably as well if I'm not in the last row. So once I access my gun and I come up, I'm probably going to see other Muslims, right? So I have created I guess you can call it a point of pivot for me to kind of look around the room. So once I've accessed my gun, right, I come to a close ready or compressed ready position and I start to scan the room. My mental exercise is to scan what I can see and then start to pivot here, right? So if you can see me, I'm pivoting here, but I'm also looking. So if I have to pivot and there's that shooter, I'm going to get him. If I have to pivot here, there's the shooter, I'm going to get him, right? So you may say, well, Alex, why don't you just stand up? Now, here's the thing about standing up. If you're going to stand up while everybody else is down, what does that mean? I'm making myself a significant target, right? There may be a situation where I have to get up off the ground and address a active shooter. But it's much more advantageous to me to be low to the ground because everybody else is, and he doesn't know who has a gun. And it's going to be very hard to look at a whole bunch of Muslims scrambling all over the place and be able to identify somebody with an actual weapon. So again, if I'm in prostration, right? If I'm in prostration, I hear a gunshot, commotion or whatever, my action is to rock back onto my heels, get my gun from my strong side, come in here to the close ready position, start to scan, right? Now, I'm not going to get up off my feet because I don't want to be a significant target. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pivot, right? Just pivot on my knees, and I'm going to look for the shooter. Don't care if the prayer rug is getting messed up at the time. It means somebody is actually shooting at us, right? So the goal is to pivot and find that shooter, all right? And eliminate that threat as soon as possible, okay? So if I'm in the standing position or the bowing position, it's pretty easy. So I always want to practice when I'm at my most vulnerable state, okay? So that may even, and I'm going to show you a different caveat to that as well as far as the movement of your pivoting and how to come to a different elevated position, okay? So here I am. I'm prostrated again. Hear a commotion, I hear a gunshot or whatever. I rock back onto my heels while accessing my gun, come up to a close ready, compressed ready. I may do some pivoting, right? But what else can I do? I can come up to a knee, right? Just changing a little bit of elevation and I can start to scan. Oh, there's the shooter. Bang, bang. Eliminate the threat, right? Get low. Bang, bang. Start to pivot on your knee. Here we go. There's the shooter. Bang, bang. Okay? Now, for some people, they may look at this video and say, oh, this Muslim carries a gun in the mosque. Well, guess what? This is America. And people carry guns, man. So I just wanted to share that with you as far as like how I think, you know, and hopefully this video is a deterrent to anybody that wants to do anything to a mosque. Because believe it or not, especially in America, there are people who are Muslim Americans or just Muslim who actually carry firearms every day for self-defense. Legally, guys. All right. So with that being said, Ramadan Mubarak, Assalamu alaikum to all the practicing Muslims out there and to everybody that's watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I would be glad to give more content like this as far as Islam goes and firearms. Because sometimes, if you watch the media long enough, they may convince you to think that we're all bad people, but that's not always the case. So anyways, stay vigilant, stay safe, peace.